What we're going to talk about ultimately is 5 ways that you can leverage data to keep clients engaged throughout the entire home selling journey. Because every relationship, every sale, every deal, it starts with a conversation. It all starts with a conversation. And the reality is that the marketer's goal is to send the right message to the right person at the right time, to the right channel, the right frequency, so you can get the greatest ROI. But in order to do that, you need a level of personalization. In our business, conversations get deals done. When I was in high school, I used to sell Cutco knives. I used to go literally door to door selling Cutco knives. It was a kind of great way to get some early customer facing experience in my career. But I got to tell you, being face to face, sitting across the kitchen table from mom and dad selling $3,000 to $5,000 knives is a way to get some real life kind of customer experience. And I can tell you that conversations is where deals get done, especially in our business. But it's impossible to personalize marketing for each and every prospect because oftentimes you don't have the time or energy to do it. And the data can sometimes be hard or expensive to get. There's a lot of data that's not hard or expensive to get. And as Dan was talking about, we can measure things. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that we measure internally, and I'll share some of those results with you. But when you don't have the data, then you don't know enough about your prospects. You don't know enough about their property, their mortgage, their behavior, their life events, the hobbies that they need in order to send relevant personal messages at scale. Today, one of the things that I'm going to share with you is how to do that. I'm going to share with you the data that you absolutely must have to find your ideal prospect. That's number one, finding the right person, crafting relevant messages, sending the right message, connecting with them on the best channels, the channels that they prefer, tracking their behavior and replying to them on cue, and ultimately following up with the right frequency. Let's go ahead and dive in. One word of caution. This data that I'm going to share with you, it can be very powerful, so don't misuse it. As long as you are relevant, you're being personal. And as long as you're personal, you're going to be effective. So don't misuse the data that I'm going to share with you. And as we get deeper into this, you'll see what I'm talking about. So one thing I want to share is everything I'm going to share with you when it comes to the right person and the right messages, the right time, the right channel. We've tested all of this except for a few of the marketing campaigns on the left, which I will mention to you. Everything else here, we tested. We run dozens and dozens and dozens of tests every single month to kind of get a sense on what's working now. When I'm talking about the right person, I want you to think about some prospects in your mind who you would like to go after. One is people who sell the homes most frequently. You can go to the National Association of Realtors, their buyers and sellers trends report, and they'll tell you that 22 to 30-year-olds who live in their house for 2 to 3 years, 45% chance that they'll sell within the next 12 months. And so the question that I want you to ask yourself is that can you easily contact 22 to 30-year-old homeowners in your area? Because if you can, and you have data like their age, ownership time, the fact that they actually own a home, their property address, then you can send them messages like your home value has increased by, your home is now worth, and give them a range. You can personalize messages using their name. Hey, have you considered moving? The reason I'm bringing these folks up first is because if I asked you what percentage of 22 to 30-year-olds who lived in their house for 2 to 3 years are most likely to move, what percentage are likely to move, you would not say 45% chance they're likely to move. You wouldn't say that because it's really kind of counterintuitive. But knowing that data and then having data on these prospects is important. Number two, right here, off-market properties, people who will sell if. Now, one of the ways we're using this, if you've got buyers who you are currently working with and they're trying to find homes, this was really important last year when we were working with a couple of clients, buyers who are looking for homes that are off market. If you know their buy box, if you know they want to buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 3,200 square foot, etc., then you know their buy box. The question is, can you find properties in the area that meet their buy box? If you've got their property address. You've got bedrooms and baths, square foot. You know the homes in your area. They got a pool, garage, basement, stories, the ownership time, the length of time they've been in that home. Then you've got the ability to put on some really great marketing campaigns. I've got ex-buyers who would love to buy your property at this address. I'm going to show you a message here in a second. It's getting like a 78 or so % response rate through email that's similar to this. Niches lead to riches. There's riches in niches. Specialize and don't generalize. So when you think about veterans, when you think about single females, when you think about multi-generational households, senior citizens, this data right here comes from the National Association of Realtors. This is these people who are in a large % selling homes. These are niches that you think you may be able to dominate. So in order to do this, you got to know their gender. You got to know the age of the people. Do you know the tax exemptions? Because that will tell you there's homestead, there's widow, there's veterans. You got to know the date of the year. If it's Veterans Day, you can send a Veterans Day giveaway to veterans, and not just to everyone. Yes, you can send it to everyone, but you can send it to veterans. Wow, how powerful would that be? This is something that we've tested. Question for you, a data question. Can you contact the single women in your drivable area who own homes? In order to do that, you got to know the women in your area who own homes. Life event-based sellers. You've all heard it. Babies move people. We had a baby, we moved. New parents, marital status, marriage, divorce. Having a baby, that's one of the primary reasons that we track within our database. People in our area who are having babies, we want to know that that's something that is likely to be a flashpoint to take people to the next level, and they're likely to move. That's something we keep track of, that we want to know, and we will ultimately want our clients to know. This is one of those pivot points I was sharing with you. This is data that is really sensitive, and you don't want to be creepy with it. It's just data that you want to know, because you can send someone a message. What we've been doing is sending an email and just asking, do you need more space? Need more than fill in the blank with the amount of square footage they have. Need more than 3,200 square feet in your home. If you know someone is a senior citizen and has 2 stories in their home, they're most likely to downsize. Well, you can reach out to those people. Don't need stairs in your house anymore. Those are the types of messages that you can send to these prospects. People you have an affinity with. Why? Because birds of a feather flock together. Here's an example. 56 to 65-year-old people who love dogs and charitable causes. I want you to think about this for a second. If you know that someone loves cooking, gardening, decorating, they love dogs, think about the marketing campaigns that you can deploy. The only one that we've done so far is Pets, Paws, and Charitable Cause. Think about that affinity group. The key here is think about the things that you like to do in your normal everyday life, the types of people you like to work with, and it's finding groups of those people in your area. So who are the dog lovers, the hikers, the photographers in your area? Do you know those people? Can you easily reach out to them? People you already have a relationship with, the folks in your database, their birthday, the veteran status. Do they love fishing? So for example, you're not going to reach out to someone and say, hey, I know you love fishing. Let's go on a fishing trip. But you will say, what happened to me recently, my real estate agent reached out and said, hey, I'm taking some of our top clients to fish on the Potomac. Would you like to go? And guess what? We went. It was me and 8 other people who went on a fishing trip this past summer in July. Those types of affinity-based marketing to your database work wonders. And then anyone who's in your market who you want to reach out to, who you've got data on, that you think they're likely to sell, because sometimes it can be market specific. You can reach out to those people. Let me get to some of these response rates. So here's a message. Everything that you see in yellow right here is an attribute, a data field that can be changed. So we would send these messages out to people, and the data changes based upon who we're sending the message to. We sent this through LinkedIn, got a 63% response rate. Hi, Kim. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service. I sent you an email and text on Monday. Did you get it? I've got 6 people who want to buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house if you're interested in selling. Thanks, John. Your home is now worth roughly $623,000. This message gets a 63% response rate through LinkedIn DM. This email right here got a 78% open rate, a 52% response rate. Good afternoon, James. I hope you're well. I was doing some research in the area and saw your home's value is roughly $815,000. That's a 15% increase in the past 6 months. I've got 6 people looking to buy a 5-bedroom, 2-bath with a garage and pool. Can we catch up today? Do you have the data in your database to send a similar message? That's something I want you to think about. If you don't worry, I'll share with you how to get it. Through text message, 82% response rate. We've had some that got a better response rate than this, but haven't been as effective because many of the responses were stop. So this is the one. They got the best response rate and was the most effective. Happy Monday, Samantha. It's kind of cold outside today. I've got 6 buyers looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, roughly 3,200 square feet in the Rutland School District. They've got kids. Would you consider a move? One of the things I want to mention here is that we originally asked people, would you consider selling? But our messages were getting filtered. And so we later added the word selling to our internal spam database. So we rarely, if ever, use that word now. The right channel. Use the media that works best for each person. Now, that's often based on individual preference or convenience. LinkedIn DM, Facebook DM, text, email, direct mail, video, phone. There are different reasons to use them. They all have their strengths and weaknesses. For example, text message is the most effective, but it can also be intrusive. LinkedIn DM, it builds familiarity, but there's a smaller audience. Direct mail is easy to deploy, but it has an extremely low response rate. Video can be personal, but it can be really creepy if you don't know the person. So you have to use these things in a very strategic way, the right time. Here's my favorite part right here. If X, then Y, because now you can track your prospect's behavior and reply to them on cue. Tracking behavior, replying on cue. If X, then Y. It helps you understand, here's the magic word I want you to remember, the intent of the prospect. If a prospect opens my email 3 times, create a task to email that person. If they watch my video for at least 10 seconds, create a task to call that person. If they fill in the blank, click my email link. If they open my email, if they respond to my text message, then do this. The reason I like email isn't become extremely effective. It's because we get a lot of great trackable data. And that data over time continues to build up and it can make email effective over the long haul. That's one of the reasons I love it, because it gives us data that we can use and we can track. Right frequency. Automate follow-up to start more conversations. Remember, the goal is to start quality conversations with qualified prospects. So you want to follow up often across different channels and you want to A/B test your messages. That's what we do. We A/B test messages, specifically the headlines through email. Some of the best practices here: sending TCPA compliant text messages, avoiding spam filters, words like offers or selling. So the question for you is, are you keeping an up-to-date DNC list? And are you able to send TCPA, Telephone Consumer Protection Act, compliant text messages? Okay, what have we learned? Data is the foundation of your marketing strategy. The goal is to start conversations that uncover intent. The more you know about your prospects, the more personal your messages can be. And personal messages, they start more relevant conversations. Here's the type of data that's needed to build these types of campaigns and do it at scale. Prospect demographics, property, mortgage, household characteristics, life events, behaviors. Here's the type of data that you need. The hobbies, people like hiking, gardening, reading. Do they love pets and running? Do they have kids in the household? Their mortgage, estimated value of their home, their mortgage rate, their loan type, all of this type of data.